Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and let's talk about one of these other kind of funky one-off cases. And this is not the exact records of the case I'm referring to because I did not have permission to share those records, but I got it as close as I could with a profile photo and some CEF numbers that basically are what it is. So let's set the stage here. 11-year-old patient, male, just like what we have here. BIMax Retrusive skeletal class 1. That's what it says here. In terms of the profile, it looks pretty similar to this, but more of a turned up nose and more of an obtuse nasolabial angle. This is definitely obtuse, but I would say it's more like that. And when you looked at the E-line, the upper lip and the lower lip were way behind the E-line. So if you don't know about CEF analysis, we have a lot of content in our YouTube channel. You can just, remember, we have an entire playlist just devoted to CEFs. I do recommend that you just get a basic orthodontic textbook and learn about CEFs, but remember what I'm trying to get at in this video is CEFs is not a Bible. CEFs are not a Bible. You don't treat to the CEF, you treat to the face. You treat to the chief complaint of the patient, you treat to the airway of the patient first, and then the CEF is a tiebreaker. The CEF just confirms your decision or can break ties. That's all it is. Remember, cephalometric numbers were based on photos from the 40s and the 50s on Caucasian kids. That's all it was, Caucasian kids, Caucasian people. They looked at faces and said, does this look good? Does that look good, right? There, at that time, these were all Caucasians. So if you're gonna have a mixed race child or a mixed ethnicity child or someone from not Northern European roots, the CEF numbers are not really that relevant. Matter of fact, I would put way less stock in them than I would for something else. It is just a tiebreaker. Okay, so let's set the stage again. Class 1 skeletal, but face looks class 2. Maybe a little less of a chin bud than this. You can have a class 2 patient with a nice chin bud, okay? BIMax Retrusive, both lips quite behind the E-line. So picture this. I told the doctor, make sure you get an OMT, a myo screening, an SDB, a sleep disorder breathing screening. Let's treat to the face, let's treat to the airway. Doctor was like, hey, but, oh, I forgot to mention, teeth were dentally class 2 by about 3 or 4 millimeters, not just slight, not full step, in the middle. So patient was pretty class 2. If we looked at the patient who was in mostly permanent dentition, if we just straightened, he'd probably have a 5 to 7 millimeter overjet afterwards. So the main thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give more lip support in the front so we could have a better nasolabial angle. Again, picture maybe a little bit more retrusive than that. So I was fine with just straightening the top teeth. I definitely did not want to tuck them back at all. So let's talk about what would be tucking back. High pole headgear, cervical headgear, a carrier. Let's see, any type of distalizer, a Jasper jumper, sequential distalization, a Herbst, anything like that, that could potentially flatten that upper lip line. We did not want any of that to happen, okay? So that was off the table. Also on the lower, it was a little bit behind. It was kind of a weak profile for a boy. So I figured that, told the doctor, well, I mean, there's a couple things we can do. One thing we can do is we could do a skeletal expander, be it an IPE or a fixed expander. That sometimes, there is some data that shows, and we've all seen it, where sometimes when you expand a maxilla and the patient is still growing, sometimes it pops forward. And then sometimes when the maxilla pops forward, the lower jaw becomes untrapped and comes forward. You've all heard this, right? Can't predict if that's gonna happen. It does happen, not in people that are not growing, but in people that are growing that are BIMax retrusive. This is one of those cases. So this is one of those cases where that would be really nice if that happened. So I wanted to set the stage for that. So that would have been one option. The other option was to go ahead and just do your Invisalign, regular Invisalign treatment, comprehensive with MA, which will also develop the jaw. It's not breaking the suture. And the patient didn't want to go through the IPE or expander treatment, just wanted to go through regular Invisalign with some MA. So that is what we did on this case. So again, just recapping, CEF numbers are there for guidance, they're not the Bible. Treat to the face, treat to the airway. Thanks so much.